And tonight, the deadly consequences of Biden's open borders agenda continue to be felt all across the entire country. Now, let's go back in time. Remember, Donald Trump warned all of us about the possibility of rapists and murderers pouring across our wide open southern borders? Well, after his famous, or infamous in some people's minds, escalator ride announcing his 2016 candidacy. Take a look.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
Of course, the media mob wasted no time relentlessly attacking him over his remarks. In case you forgot, here's a reminder.
Donald Trump in June announcing that he was in the running to become the leader of the free world, also announcing that Mexicans coming into the United States are rapists. Those remarks drew tons of criticism in the days and weeks following Mr. Trump's presidential announcement, but there was never an apology.
So why are they defending him?
I have no idea.
What started off as a pretty ugly immigration debate within the Republican presidential race has now gotten somehow even uglier, thanks to the frontrunner Donald Trump.
When people like Donald Trump, very much in the public square, say things like Mexicans are rapists and murderers, that kind of talk leads directly to criminal violence.
All right, so to our friends in the mob and the media, how do you explain all the reports of all these Americans who have been killed by Joe Biden's unvetted illegal immigrants? Prosecutors revealing disturbing new details in the brutal murder of a 12-year-old girl in Texas, saying the illegal immigrant suspects allegedly assaulted her for 2 hours before killing her. Making matters worse, a new report says one of the suspects was actually wearing an ankle monitor at the time of the brutal murder. He has now had his bail set at $10 million. A little late. What about Rachel Morin, the Maryland mother of 5 who was allegedly raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant? What about Laken Riley? What about that 13-year-old girl raped in Queens in a park in broad daylight? Wow. We'll scroll the names of many of these victims. Here with reaction is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is with us. Well, President Trump was right. Many conservatives were right. We're now living out what is a preventable disaster. And thankfully, these families, they'll never be the same again. And they're speaking out, Governor. And I've been saying Joe Biden has blood on his hands. And God forbid if there are terror cells here because of his wide open borders, 11 million unvetted people from countries with terror ties and our top geopolitical foes. What's going to happen then, Governor?
Well, I think it's inevitable that there will be a terrorist attack linked to people that crossed the border during Biden's presidency. I mean, I hope I'm wrong about that. But the chance that that wouldn't happen when you have so many millions of people, including from hostile countries like Iran and China and other places in the Middle East, you are definitely going to continue to see the problems amount. It's interesting. When I first became governor of Florida, we had the Trump administration in charge. And so our main concern from a state perspective was sanctuary cities. And Florida had allowed that before I became governor. So we banned sanctuary cities, said you have to cooperate with federal immigration authorities and you have to assist them so that they can deport people who are here illegally. Then once Biden came in, it was totally the opposite. We knew we'd get no support from the federal government. So we've had to do all these different things at the state level to be able to deter illegal immigration into our state. You know, there's a report that just came out. We made sure for when you have people show up at the hospital that we're asking about immigration status. And that's caused the Medicaid expenditures to plummet by 50%. In the state of Florida. We don't recognize we don't issue driver's license to illegal aliens. We don't recognize any ID cards issued from other states or even from private organizations. I surged a flotilla of boats in the Florida Keys to prevent boats coming in from places like Haiti, and on it goes. So we've had to take extraordinary efforts, and it all goes back to Joe Biden violating his oath of office to take care that the laws of this country are faithfully executed.
They lied about the border being secure and closed for 3 years. They bragged about removing all of Donald Trump's policies, successful policies, with the stroke of a pen. And what is unbelievable to me is last week we learned Joe Biden claims we're going to give amnesty. He fixed the border by himself, doing something he said he didn't have the ability to do with the stroke of a pen, and blames Donald Trump for not supporting legislation that would have allowed 5,000 unvetted illegals in the country before it even gave them the discretion to then put an end to it, him and Mayorkas. So that phony bill that they're blaming on Trump was no border security bill anyway. It's a lie. I mean, we had border security. They squandered it, Governor.
Yeah, I mean, that bill would have institutionalized Biden's policies in effect. And here's the thing. Why were Republicans playing footsie with that bill in the Senate and in the House? It was fool's gold from the beginning. And what that's done is it's given the media and the left this talking point that somehow it's Trump or Republicans' fault that this problem hasn't been solved. You and I both know the House, conservatives in the House had a bill that would have solved these problems, and Biden rejected that bill. So I think it was a total farce. But I think Biden and the media are going to use that. I wouldn't be surprised if you see them try to frame it that way at this CNN debate coming up on Thursday night. But the bottom line is the problem with the border was created by Joe Biden on his first day in office.
All right, Governor, thank you for being with us. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.